of what it's gone through over the course of the last few days. I want to just give you a sense of where I'm standing. Right now I'm at the Kulu junction area. Right behind me is Kulu. Up ahead, a kilometer of the road is torn. You're going to get you visuals of that as well, washed away in the floods. But this is, you know, what my camera person Pavan will just show you before we cut across to headlines is important. These are tourists, some of them who walked about 80 kilometers from Kasol, because that's the road which goes to Kasol. They've all come down here wanting to make their way homes. Very little information that is filtering in. You've come from Kasol. Hi. You walked from Kasol?
Yeah, we halfway walk, halfway taxi.
Half walk, half taxi. And where are you going to now?
We're going to Delhi because we have flight.
You have flight to Delhi?
No, we have flight to Israel from Delhi.
All right. So you've been stuck for the last 2 days there?
Yes. No signal, no electricity, nothing.
Nothing there. All right. Good luck. I hope you have your ride back home, back to Delhi. You found something? Under the water. Yes. All right. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Good luck. Good luck. All right, so eager tourists as well wanting to have a conversation. Most of them actually are coming to you to try and get a sense of how to get back to base. For them, base is Delhi and then they take a flight. Let me quickly take you through the headlines. Violent clashes and explosions mar counting day for Bengal Panchayat poll. State governor says elections must be fought on ballot, not bullet. Torrential rains wreak havoc in Himachal. At least 72 dead in Himachal rain rampage. Himachal Chief Minister speaks exclusively to India today.
हमारा जो कर्तव्य और दायित्व था वो था कि हमारे जो रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशंस था जो पिछले कल हमने ख़त्म किया, अब जो हमारे लोग फंसे हुए उनको निकालने का है.
Horrific collision in Ghaziabad. School bus driving in wrong direction rams into an SUV. At least 6 kids, including 2 children. Centre defends abrogation of Article 370 in top court. Claims unprecedented stability. Supreme Court brushes off defence, says affidavit has no bearing on case. Supreme Court rejects third extension of ED Director S.K. Mishra but keeps doors open for 10-year extension only after special panel nod. Three days to go for the launch of Chandrayaan-3. ISRO conducts a launch rehearsal by stimulating the entire process. The rains might have stemmed in this part where I'm standing, Kulu, which was right in the epicenter of what the state of Himachal went through in terms of the calamity of sorts, the Himalayan tragedy, which is still unfolding. Rescue operations, relief operations afoot in Kulu. The rain has in fact moved to the south part of Himachal, more in the Kinnaur region. Let's quickly take you through some of the defining images coming in from Himachal. Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister Sukhwinder Singh Sukhu took an aerial survey of the flood-ravaged region. The Chief Minister visited Sanj, where an entire village was washed away. Sudden rise in the water levels of Beas River has led to flood-like situation in Himachal's Mandi. Incessant downpour has led to widespread flooding and damage to life and property. As heavy rains continue in Uttarakhand, landslide occurred in Haridwar and debris fell all over the railway tracks. Debris clearance work in progress. About 25,000 drums flowed into the canal after a wall of the scrap warehouse in Ranipur, Selampur area of Haridwar was broken due to heavy rains. As Yamuna continues to flow above the danger mark in Delhi, several low-lying areas were flooded and water entered inside several houses. All right, viewers, let's get to the latest that is coming in from the state of Himachal Pradesh. After 48 hours of incessant rainfall, now is the time for relief and rescue. Lots of tourists still stranded, lots of districts, lots of region completely in oblivion, cut off, where we are given to understand no electricity. Lots of damage that has happened to water work projects, and water pipelines have been cut off in many areas of Himachal. Phone connectivity, mobile connectivity, the OFC cable in areas like even Manali, Kasol, all of it has been washed away in the rains, torrential rainfall here. And what we are visualizing and actually seeing is the aftermath of this tragedy. Himachal witnessed heavy rains as well. Till now, the count seen 72 people have been killed due to the landslides and other rain-related incidents. Himachal cloudbursts were triggered and flash floods in the hill state, where nearly 800 roads are still closed in the state. Several vehicles, buildings and even bridges have been washed away with the waters. All major rivers are in spate, bringing normal life to an abject standstill. Orange alert right now has been sounded in certain districts of Himachal Pradesh. The Met Department has said that today in areas in districts like Kulu, Mandi, there has been no rainfall, but could be tomorrow. However, rainfall has moved to other parts of Himachal, namely the south of Himachal. Heavy rainfall expected there. Meanwhile, Himachal Chief Minister Sukhwinder Sukhu has urged all residents to stay indoors or seek refuge at safer locations. He took an aerial survey earlier this afternoon in areas worst affected, including Senj, where 2 villages have been washed away with 80 houses, even a hospital washed away, we are told. After 2 days of abject mayhem, I am right now in Kulu. The road from Mandi to Kulu has opened up, and suddenly you see a spurt of tourists that have come out desperate to get back home. Where I am, right behind me is the Kulu city. Right in front is onwards to Manali, where the roads have been washed away. And on the right-hand side of me is the road to Kasol. There's a steady stream of young tourists who are able to walk and who are walking all the way from Kasol, because various parts of the roads have been washed away. Some of them who we've met have walked about 40 to 80 kilometers. There's no car. There are hardly any buses. There's no help, even by the government, it seems, on ground, where a basic advice can be dispensed to these tourists on what is their best option to get home. They are coming in laden, sometimes in goods carriers, making their way right now to Kulu and then trying to find their way out of here. This is the local Volvo bus kiosk that you see, and what we are given to understand by these tourists, that now there is a surge in charges. They're trying to make a fast buck, where going from here to Mandi is been charged to about 2,000 rupees per head. We spoke to a lot of them, and the sense that we could get was of helplessness. Nobody's here to actually guide them, to tell them what's the best way to get home. Reporting with camera person Pawan Kumar, Preeti Chaudhary for India Today.
टॉस में जब मैं निकलने लगा तो लैंडस्लाइड काफी हो गई थी. मैं बरसैनी में ही रुका, 2 दिन बरसैनी में रुका. उसके बाद अभी भी वहाँ पे जैसी मैंने आते हुए हालत देखी है, मेरे को नहीं लगता है 1 महीने से पहले वहाँ पे कुछ हो पाएगा सही. इतनी यहाँ पे कीचड़ है. चल के आए हैं, उसके बाद 40 किलोमीटर चले, मणिकरण रुके, उसके बाद आए फिर टैक्सी से, उसके बाद फिर ट्रैक किया है हमने. पूरा 200 मीटर का पैच गायब है, उधर से फिर ट्रैक किया है, फिर आए. केयर कोई कुछ नहीं कर रहा है. लोकल्स जो भाव है उसका 3 to 4 टाइम्स ले रहे हैं.
कसोल में एकदम कनेक्टिविटी नहीं है और वहाँ पे इलेक्ट्रिसिटी यहाँ पे भी नहीं है, बट एटलीस्ट यहाँ पे नेटवर्क्स है.
क्या विटनेस किया था?
इन कसोल हम लोगों ने देखा तो जो छलाल है वो पूरा एकदम चला गया है। तो हम लोग छलाल से आए हैं कसोल मार्केट में, तो वहाँ पे 2-3 लैंडस्लाइड हम लोग क्रॉस करके आए हैं। तो फिर वहां से हम एकदम मतलब कसोल मार्केट आना भी बहुत डिफिकल्ट था, बट हम लोग एटलीस्ट आ गए कसोल मार्केट। फिर वहां से हिम्मत मिली कि आगे चलते हैं। अब फाइनली हम यहाँ पहुंच गए, होपफुली दिल्ली पहुंच जाए हम लोग।
वी आर कमिंग फ्रॉम कसौल। अभी 3-4 दिन से वहाँ पे अटके हैं। हमारे सामने गाड़ियां भई हैं, सब कुछ हुआ है, नॉट इवन सिंगल पुलिस पर्सन। एनडीआरएफ की टीम आई थी जो नीचे पानी भर रहा था, लोगों को निकाल दिया और बोला कि ऊपर जाके अपने आप रह लो। नथिंग हैज बीन डन बाय द गवर्नमेंट। आई ट्वीटेड, कोई हेल्प नहीं हो रही है, कुछ नहीं हो रही है। यहाँ पे लोग अपने हिसाब से पैसे ले रहे हैं, 3,000-4,000 सिर्फ मंडी तक जाने के लिए। यहाँ पे मैंने 100 नंबर कॉल किया, पुलिस इज नॉट हेल्पिंग एट ऑल।
कसौल में कितने दिन से थी?
कसोल हम लोग पहुंचे थे 8 को।
8 को पहुंचे?
जी जी। और मतलब 8 की मॉर्निंग में पहुंच गए थे, 7 को निकले थे हम। और ऐसा बारिश वगैरह का हमें कुछ पता ही नहीं था, क्योंकि लाइटली बारिश हो रही थी जी। अचानक से बहुत ज़्यादा बारिश हुई, उसकी वजह से मौसम बिगड़ गया और जगह जगह रास्ते टूटने लग गए, ब्रेक हो गया। क्योंकि हम जी हाँ होटल में ही थे, बट हमारी नेक्स्ट डे की टिकट थी, हमें निकलना था वहाँ से।
अच्छा,
बस की भी थी, फ्लाइट की भी थी, बट सब कैंसिल हो गई क्योंकि वहाँ पे वायर वगैरह सब ब्रेक हो गए। लाइट बिल्कुल नहीं है, फोन भी बिल्कुल नहीं काम कर रहा है, खाली वोडाफोन में ही नेटवर्क आ रहे थे जैसे तैसे। तो लोग कांटेक्ट कर रहे, इनफैक्ट सब रो रहे थे क्योंकि किसी से कांटेक्ट किसी का नहीं हो पा रहा है, फोन तक चार्ज नहीं हो पा रहा था। लाइट वाली प्रॉब्लम प्लस कैश, पेटीएम, इससे भी प्रॉब्लम है, कुछ भी नहीं हो पा रहा। जो लोग कैश भी दे रहे हैं वो लोग बहुत ही मुश्किल में, जैसे ज्यादा पैसे लेके उसके बाद हमें वो अगर
टूरिस्ट है वहाँ पर?
बहुत लोग हैं मैम अभी तो।
When did you reach?
Around 9th, I think so.
9th. You came alone?
Yeah, I came alone
From Delhi.
from Delhi.
And you went to Kasol.
Yeah,
And 9th you reached, and in 2 days you were stuck.
yeah, I got stuck. I just planned for 2 days only, but it was extended. There was no taxi, no buses. Buses was cancelled, and the flood was there a little bit more.
All happened in 1 day?
2 days.
2 days.
2 day it take. Actually, the rain was very heavy, and next day it become the flood is become more in that Parvati Valley.
Right.
So all the buses and cars become blocked.
The worst affected region in Himachal was the area of Kulu, Bhuntar and Manali. As while we enrolled, despite the disconnectivity of the mainland Kulu and Manali from rest part of Himachal, it has been really difficult taking the small stretches in the mountains, and somehow we have managed to reach in Bhuntar, and this explained the furious flash floods from those hilly areas. All of a sudden there's a huge amount of debris along with the flash flood that came down and literally took along everything that came on the way. There you see all these shops are literally now under the debris, and that was really scary situation. Those images had gone viral, but here in Bhuntar this entire market was almost choked up with the debris and the flash flood. Of course, it's only all the footprints left now. People have trying best there to secure and restore whatever was left by the flash flood. Look at these, all these shops were almost destroyed. Virtually the road is now open for the vehicular activities, but here from Bhuntar to Kulu, this entire region was amongst the worst affected. We are bringing you ground reports from the epicenter, and Bhuntar was one amongst in this area of Kulu. At ground zero in Kulu's Bhuntar with Nasir Ahmad Shitosh Mishra for India Today.
Let's cut across right now. Along with me in Kulu, my colleague Ashutosh Mishra also joins us from Kulu. Manjeet continues to be in Mandi. Ashutosh, I know you and I have practically taken the same route up, dotted with landslides. I was trying to make my way to Kasol. There's been a fresh landslide there. Children and school students, young college kids studying, walking some 80 kilometers. What have you witnessed?
होटल चलते हैं 9 बजे का, तो वहाँ से निपटारेंगे, वॉक थ्रू दे दिया ना अमन।
has gone in a blackout mode. Virtually there is no electricity and there is no backup even as well. So subsequently that has impacted the telecom towers as well. So I would really seek your apology. I couldn't hear what you said. But at the moment what I'm seeing for last 48 hours here in this Himachal region of Himachal, mostly it's only the devastation. It was even difficult to reach out to this part of Kulu from Mandi. We reached to Bhuntar, we went to PD, Kulu, and even to the stretch where the Manali and Kulu has been totally disconnected from each other. In fact, here in PD, they see mostly the newly constructed resort. More damage is done to the commercial institution, to the public properties, to the government properties than the life. Because so far we have the toll of around 75 people who have died because of this tragedy. But here in this entire region, it's only and only devastation. But there is also some good stories to share about the people of Himachal Pradesh. We are hearing several stories how people in those who have their resorts and hotels in Manali are helping out to the stranded. When in fact there are even people here who are running commercial institutions and other are offering best help to the stranded people, be it the tourist or the working one, anyone who are around. In fact, Soni ji, would you like to share your experience about what is happening in this area, particularly those who are stranded in Manali, Kulu, Bhuntar?
सब लोग परेशान हैं, बहुत सारे, और बहुत त्रासदी हुई है जो कि हमने इतने सालों के अंदर में नहीं देखा था. जो ये चीज़ हुआ है, मैंने तो खैर 1995 का देखा था, अब दोबारा देखा, ये उससे भी ज़्यादा तांडव का था.
मदद कैसे कर रहे हैं आप लोगों की जो यहाँ वहाँ फंसे हुए हैं कई सारे?
ऐसा है जी, यहाँ पर तो क्या है कि मनाली का पूरा कट ऑफ है, यहाँ से उधर हमारे पास जो आ रहे हैं, हमारे से जितना बन पा रहा है हम उनको हेल्प कर रहे हैं. और
one piece of information that I would like to give it to all the viewers, those who are concerned about their family members, those who are stranded in Manali, they are incommunicado because there is no mobile network, there is no mobile tower that is working at the moment, Preeti. But because of there are other facilities, since the authorities are in touch with each other, they are knocking every hotel, every door. They are ensuring there is a proper food supplies, everything that is made available. And until unless there is a power backup restored, since all telecom towers are also devastated, that will be difficult. But they shouldn't really worry. There is no major loss of lives. People are safe there. Somehow the messages are being sent to them and they are being contacted by the authorities.
All right, Ashutosh, thank you for joining us there. My colleague Ashutosh reporting in Kulu. We're going to try and make our way to Manali, which still remains cut off, as well as areas like Kasol. I was talking to the Chief Minister a short while ago, and he actually told me that he's come in from an area, this place called Senj. It's on the Ot Banjar road. All roads are completely cut off, at least from the Kulu side. And he went in through a chopper. And word coming in from there that 2 villages of over 80 houses completely wiped out. All of that information right now filtering in. I want to cut across to Manjeet Sehgal, my colleague reporting from Mandi. Manjeet, things looked a little stable in Mandi this morning. What is the latest that you're picking up?
Well, Preeti, after facing the flood fury, now the government of Himachal Pradesh was facing the challenging task of the restoration of over 1,239 roads, including 3 important national highways. That also includes the Chandigarh-Manali National Highway or the Kalka-Shimla National Highway. Remember, the closure of these national highways and state roads has resulted in the stoppage of the lifeline, that is the State Transport Corporation buses, which are not plying on 1,400 routes. So life has come to a standstill. The state government has now appealed the National Highway Authority of India to restore traffic on all the national highways so that people who are stranded at various places can move places. Remember, as some roads, including the Chandigarh-Manali National Highway, can be restored within next 4 to 6 days, as there is huge rock slide at a place called 6 miles. The state government has now requisitioned Indian Air Force chopper to airlift the stranded passengers at Chandratal in Lohal and Spiti. So efforts are also on to restore the power and water supplies here in Mandi district. Many localities have plunged into the darkness as the power supplies have been hit hard, have been damaged by the floods. Preeti?
All right, Manjeet, appreciate you joining us. We're going to continue to track the latest that is coming in where Himachal is concerned. Viewers, it might not look like what it did 2 days ago in terms of the frightening visuals of abject chaos, but right now is crucial. Relief and rescue starts now. Maybe not rescue as much, but relief. And where Himachal is concerned, over 4,000 crores of property completely washed away, where infrastructure is concerned. Waterworks, projects, all of them in ruins. Not very far off from where I am, the Larji Dam and the Larji Waterwork project. All of that has completely been washed away. So a huge task on hand where the government of Himachal is concerned. And the government of Himachal is already under 70,000 crore rupee debt. But what the government can do, we are telling you what the government has done. I'll ask Pawan to actually show you. There are so many of these tourists which are stranded. He's going to close into these tourists to get an understanding. They're completely helpless. They're actually sitting in on, these tempos, carriers, trying to get their way off, trying to get home. What the government can do is maybe create a help desk in various pockets, be it Kulu, be it Manali, be it, in tourist destinations. Keep creating these help desks so that they can at least go and, get some advice on how to get out of here, because there are no government buses which are plying, no public transport at all. I want to cut across right now to the national capital. The situation in the national capital, quite bleak. The water levels of the Yamuna have been rising. This is the latest.
बड़ा पाड़ा पुल का बत्ती से कनेक्शन टूटा देखो बत्ती का कनेक्शन टूटा
Cut across right now, my colleague Abhishek Anand joins us from Delhi. Abhishek, it stopped raining in Himachal. Relief and rescue operations on. In Delhi, the water levels of the Yamuna have steadily been rising. What's the latest today?
Well, Preeti, we are standing in front of India Gate, the VVIP area of Delhi, and a big cave-in is right in front of the India Gate. The road has caved in due to the seepage of water and the choke drains which led to waterlogging. And now look at the size of the caved-in road. And now the NDMC officials are working round the clock to clear the debris and fill this cave-in. And now you can see the domino effect of one cave-in, Preeti, right behind me. This is one of the main arteries, one of the main roads of Delhi, and it is now facing a massive traffic jam. You can see vehicles queued up right behind this caved-in road because of the two bottlenecks here. These are the two bottlenecks you can see. One is the right side of the road and the left side of the road.
Right.
The traffic police personnel are having a really hard time because of the VVIP movements are very frequent in this area. Over to you, Preeti.
All right, Abhishek, appreciate you joining us. Thank you there. But that's the situation in Delhi. Also, an orange alert in parts of Uttarakhand. We're keeping a keen eye on the developments there. With that, a quick break to stay with us on the other side. An exclusive conversation with the Chief Minister of Himachal. He has his task cut out. He was in fact, he's going to be in Kulu tonight as well. He's camping out here, he tells me, to make sure that relief and rescue operations takes place on a wall footing. That's coming up next. Stay with us.
Armed with facts, she takes the news by its horns.
Do you think the future of these students are not hampered?
Fierce, bold and direct, setting the tone for the biggest stories from every corner and every angle. Expect nothing but the unfiltered truth.
News first, niceties later. Watch me, Nabila Jamal, on India Today.
Stock of the day clearly on the Nifty at least is Reliance Industries The shares are up over 4% today. They've hit 52-week high levels. Now, this is as a reaction as the company has announced its fixing of the record date for the demerger of the financial services arm. Now, as part of the plan, the Reliance Industries shareholders will get 1 share of Jio Financial for every 1 share that they hold of Reliance Industries. I wanted to ask you, what are you making of this Jio Financial Services business? How will it really play out, and what kind of value unlocking can it really lead to for the Reliance Industries shareholders?
So I believe that there will be concentrated approach to the Jio Financial business because it is no more part of the the Reliance entire conglomerate, and being listed separately, I think it will provide another stock in the financial services to the investors at large who have not been holders of Reliance, and that to my mind is expected to drive the outperformance of the stock. We expect the stock to do very well and consolidate gains as it goes ahead.
Right, you did say that the stock is expected to do well. Now remember, the stock is already up about 24% from its lowest level this year. That was hit on March 24th of around 2200 and thereabout, and from that time a 24% surge already. How much more upside do you see on the Reliance Industries stock?
See, I look at it this way. We've seen dearth of information coming from the Reliance tables on any corporate action, and with this is the first where Jio Financial Services is being spawned out into a new baby. We will see multiple new disclosures coming in. So Reliance Retail is there. The Jio IPO can come in, and we could also see a lot of news flow on the green energy side. So I believe that the corporate actions will pick up frequency now, and that is expected to keep the stock firm and seek higher levels.
3,000, 3,100 levels. By when do you see Reliance Industries achieving these kind of levels?
So it could take a little more time than we expect, but difficult to put a finger on that. But I definitely think that it could happen by March itself.
Schiaparelli's Fall Winter had a lot of shock factor on expected lines if the past is anything to go back. But this time it was beyond the shock factor into actual wearable art, as they would like to call it. This is wearable art according to Schiaparelli at the Haute Couture Week in Paris. Mirrored mosaic dresses, hand-painted bodies, and a black mohair tree gown, the runway was not short of drama. Cardi B was spotted in the front row in a theatrical work of couture. Now to Chanel and Versace in Riyadh. The showcase in front of the iconic Eiffel Tower was on the lines of Chanel's brand speak, sophisticated and simple. Tom Brown's new collection evoked dreamy vibe overall. Birds as hats, towering heels dressed with bells, and Grace Elizabeth closing the show. The entire showcase was orchestrated, directed, put together to create this dreamy representation of couture and out-of-the-box creativity. Dior kept the collection close to its brand ethos. This time, the inspiration came from goddesses and feminine figures of antiquity. In a 180-degree turn, rather than sending models out in gowns, Victor and Rolf opted to transition its signatures into one-piece bathing suits and bikinis for its fall 2023 haute couture collection. So hello women, couture swimwear is here. Plus, one could not miss their shock factor, like this, and this, and even this. Happy 30th anniversary, Victor and Rolf. Take a bow, or should we say bow?
Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today News Mode.
SBI Mutual Fund, a partner for life. UBI, अच्छे लोग अच्छा बैंक.
I have with me the Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh. हमारे साथ हैं हिमाचल प्रदेश के चीफ मिनिस्टर. एक सर्वे करके आए हैं अभी जो सबसे ज्यादा अफेक्टेड डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स हैं, जो एपिसेंटर बन गया है, जो आपदा आई है हिमाचल प्रदेश पे. बहुत शुक्रिया सर कि आप हमसे बात कर रहे हैं. सीएम साहब, आप अभी एक सॉर्टी करके आए हैं हेलीकॉप्टर से, एरियल सर्वे किया है आपने. जो भी आपको भी इनपुट्स आ रहे हैं, लेटेस्ट फिगर्स क्या हैं, क्या सिचुएशन है?
देखिए, सबसे पहले हमारा जो कर्तव्य और दायित्व था वो था कि हमारे जो रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशंस था, जो पिछले कल हमने ख़त्म किया, अब जो हमारे लोग फंसे हुए उनको निकालने का है. पर इसी बीच हमें खबर मिली कि सैंज एक जगह है जहां रात को बहुत तेज फ्लड आया, सुबह भी फ्लड आया. उसमें तकरीबन 40 के करीब शॉप्स और 30 के करीब मकान जो है वो वॉश अवे हो गए. तो मैं उस जगह तो लैंड किया, तो वहाँ स्थिति बड़ी अच्छी नहीं है. लेकिन सबसे अच्छी बात क्या हुई कि वहाँ कोई ह्यूमन लॉस नहीं हुआ. तो उस दृष्टि से अभी हमने उनको फौरी राहत पहुँचाने की बात की है. और दूसरी जो बात है, मैं उसके अलावा कसोल, खीरगंगा, पुलगा में मैं खुद एरियल सर्वे करके आया हूं. और हमारी टीम ने ये पाया है कि हम आज शाम तक हम कसोल की सड़क को शुरुआत कर देंगे. और वहां से तकरीबन 2000 के करीब टूरिस्ट वहां हैं, उनको हम निकालना स्टार्ट कर देंगे. और कुछ को हमने स्टार्ट कर दिया है. दूसरा जो मनाली से कुल्लू वाला रोड है, उसमें भी हम वन वे ट्रैफिक को शुरू करने जा रहे हैं. और वहाँ भी जितने पर्यटक हैं उनको भी हम निकालने का कार्य शुरू कर देंगे. चंदरताल में तकरीबन हमारे 200-300 के करीब पर्यटक वहाँ हैं. और जब सवेरे हमारा जब हेलीकॉप्टर वहाँ गया था तो लैंड नहीं कर पाया क्योंकि एकदम वहाँ बर्फ होने लगी। मुझे अभी इस बात की खुशी है कि अभी वहाँ मौसम एकदम साफ है और 15 मिनट में हमारे जो 60 साल से ऊपर के जो लोग हैं, जो बच्चे हैं और जो महिलाएं हैं, उनको हम इवैक्यूएट करने की पूरी कोशिश कर रहे हैं।
ये
जी
हेलीकॉप्टर कितना अभी तक अगर हम लॉस की बात करें सीएम साहब, तो ह्यूमन लाइफ और जो प्रॉपर्टी में है, अगर कुछ आंकड़े आ रहे हैं हमारे सामने अब?
देखिए, 50 साल में पहली बार पूरे प्रदेश में एक समान बारिश हुई। बरसात के मौसम में क्या होता था, जब पहाड़ों में बारिश होती थी तो निचले जो क्षेत्र थे उसमें कम बारिश होती थी और जो हमारे पावर प्रोजेक्ट्स बने हैं वो डैम लबालब भर गए और जब डैम से पानी छोड़ा जाता है तो बहुत नुकसान होता है। लेकिन 3 दिन कंटिन्यूटी में बारिश होने के बावजूद ये जैसे कुल्लू में हुई वैसे ही पूरे प्रदेश में, पंजाब के साथ लगता ऊना जिला है और चंडीगढ़ के साथ लगता बद्दी है, तो वहाँ तो पुल बह गए और उसका असर चंडीगढ़ में भी पड़ा। तो बहुत भयंकर बाढ़ आई है और तकरीबन 4000 के करीब हमारी संपत्ति का नुकसान हुआ है। कोई ऐसी पेयजल योजना नहीं है क्योंकि सभी जो पेयजल योजनाएं होती है हिमाचल में, पहाड़ों में, हिमाचल में नहीं पहाड़ों में, वो या तो नदी के किनारे बनी होती है या नालों के किनारे बनी होती है। जब ये नदी अपना रास्ता बदलती है, ये जब उसने अपना रास्ता बदला तो कई पेयजल योजनाओं को बहा कर लेगी। कुल्लू में तो पिछले 72 घंटे से बिजली नहीं है, लेकिन कुछ क्षेत्रों में पिछले कल हमने बिजली की सुविधा उपलब्ध करवाई है क्योंकि पावर प्रोजेक्ट ही वाश अवे पूरा पानी भर गया है। मेरा ये मानना है कि आज हम कुल्लू में बिजली उपलब्ध करवा देंगे और शाम तक जो पानी की स्कीमें बह गई है उनमें किसी न किसी तरह लोगों को पानी पहुंचाने का काम करेंगे क्योंकि अब हमारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी जो पब्लिक यूटिलिटी की सर्विसेज है उनको रिस्टोर करना है।
जो लालजी टनल है, जो पावर प्रोजेक्ट है, वो भी बन गया है, तो उसमें लोग थे क्या, क्योंकि बहुत सारे और अफवाहें भी इसमें बहुत हैं।
देखिए, सबसे अच्छी बात ये हुई कि ये दिन के समय बाढ़ आई है और जान माल का ये भगवान का शुक्र है, गॉड ग्रेस है कि अगर रात के समय आती तो आप अंदाजा लगा सकते थे कि कितनी ह्यूमन लॉस हो सकता था। तो लोगों को जैसे जैसे चेतावनी हमारे लोग देते रहे और वो लोग अपने घर छोड़कर, नदी के किनारे वाले घर छोड़कर बाहर निकल गए थे, तो जो नुकसान है वो कम हुआ है। लारजी में पूरे पावर प्रोजेक्ट में पानी भर चुका है और पूरे जब पानी भरता तो उसके साथ सिल्ट भरती है
जी।
सिल्ट निकालने में काफी समय लगता है, तो जितना नुकसान हुआ उसको भरने में हिमाचल सरकार को काफी समय लगेगा। लेकिन अब प्रयास है कि जो एसेंशियल सर्विसेज है, जैसे पानी है, बिजली है और दूरसंचार की है, मोबाइल कनेक्टिविटी की है, वो कनेक्टिविटी अभी पूरे क्षेत्रों में हम ठीक नहीं कर पाए। तो उस संदर्भ में मैं कोशिश ये कर रहा हूँ कि पहले खुद बैठकर कि किसी न किसी, अभी हम सैटेलाइट फोन को भिजवा रहे हैं, हमें ये कनेक्टिविटी मिल जाए और टेलीकॉम मिनिस्टर से भी मैं बात करना चाहता हूँ कि कम से कम सैटेलाइट के थ्रू हमारी कनेक्टिविटी कुछ जोड़ी जाए। इस दृष्टिकोण से भी हम काम करें।
सीएम साहब, क्योंकि इसमें जो मोबाइल कनेक्टिविटी की बात करें, जो ओएफसी केबल है बहुत सारे क्षेत्रों से बह गया है, मनाली में नहीं है, कसौल में नहीं है, मणिकरण में हम कोशिश कर रहे थे, वहां पर भी किसी से कांटेक्ट नहीं हो पा रहा है, तो बहुत लोग वरीड भी हैं कि उनके जो प्रियजन फंसे हुए हैं।
ये आपने बहुत अच्छी बात पूछी क्योंकि जिनके प्रियजन पूछे उनमें से कईयों के फोन आपको भी आए होंगे और मुझे भी आए हैं, लेकिन सबसे अच्छी बात यह है कि जिनके भी प्रियजन फंसे हैं और जो बाहर से कर रहे हैं वो सब ठीक ठाक है। सब लोगों के साथ हमारा सैटेलाइट फोन के साथ कनेक्ट होकर हमारा सब कुछ ठीक है। त्रिशूर के कुछ मेडिकल कॉलेज के बच्चे पढ़े हैं, 12 हमारे रशियंस हैं, 12 मलेशियंस है, 2 आरिश है, 1 अमेरिकन्स है, वो सब अपने होटलों में हैं। होटलों में खाने पीने का पूरा इंतजाम किया गया है और किसी की ऐसे पर्यटक की कोई ऐसी दुर्घटना होने की कोई भी संभावना अभी तक नहीं है। ये सबसे खुशी की बात है। तकरीबन कसौल जैसे एरिया में ही 2000 के करीब पर्यटक है, चंद्रताल में 300 के करीब पर्यटक है, पागल नाला और तेलगी नाला के बीच भी हमने अब आवाजाही थोड़ी देर में हमने शुरू कर दी है। मनाली में काफ़ी पर्यटक है, तो सब वो सेफ है। और जिनके भी परिवार वाले चिंतित है, मैं आपके माध्यम से ये भी कहना चाहता हूँ कि वो सब ठीक है। और जिनके माता पिता भी गए हैं या जिनके बच्चे भी गए, वो सब सेफ है। आप थोड़ा समय दीजिए, क्योंकि पहाड़ जो लैंडस्लाइड हुआ है वो मैसिव लैंडस्लाइड है पूरी स्टेट में। हमने आज कोशिश ये है कि हमारी मंडी से लेकर ये रोड तो खुला है, लेकिन मंडी से कुल्लू वाला रोड जो है वो पूरी तरह बंद है, लेकिन हमने अल्टरनेट रोड निकाला है, उसके माध्यम से जा रहे हैं। हम कोशिश है कि जल्दी ही जैसे ही कसोल से आएंगे, पहले जो टूरिस्ट बसे हैं उनको हम घर पहुंचाएंगे और अपने लोकल को हम कह रहे हैं जो कि आप थोड़ा सा अभी बाहर ना जाना, ताकि पहले हम लोकल को एडजस्ट कर सकें।
सीएम साहब, आप कह रहे हैं ये 50 साल में सबसे वर्स्ट आपदा जो आई है इन टर्म्स ऑफ नेचुरल कैलामिटी बोल दीजिए, तो 93 में जो हुआ, 2003 में हुआ, फिर 2013 में हुआ, फिर अभी 2023 में हुआ है।
नहीं, ये उनसे सबसे अधिक
मानते हैं आप इसे? आपको लगता है सेंट्रल सरकार को इसको एक नेचुरल कैलामिटी का दर्जा देना चाहिए?
मैंने तो कहा है कि नेचुरल कैलामिटीज का दर्जा देना चाहिए, राष्ट्रीय आपदा कहा जाना चाहिए, क्योंकि इस समय बादल कई जगह फटे और कई जगह डैम ने भी अपने पानी खोले हैं। नुकसान, ब्रिज उड़ गए, रोड उड़ गए,
पहले से ज्यादा, इसीलिए ज्यादा है,
पहले से ज्यादा है। पर इसमें एक सबसे ज्यादा फायदा क्या हुआ कि इसमें ह्यूमन लॉस कम हुआ है, प्रॉपर्टी लॉस ज्यादा है, वेल्थ का लॉस ज्यादा है, संपत्ति का लॉस ज्यादा है, संपदा का लॉस ज्यादा। अब जैसे सैंज है, वहाँ 70 घर उड़ गए, लेकिन वहाँ ह्यूमन लॉस नहीं हुआ, वहाँ मोबाइल कनेक्टिविटी नहीं है। मैं अगर एरियल सर्विस आज मैं गया, उनसे मिला, तो मैं उसके आपको वीडियो बताऊंगा, तो उसमें भी आपको लगेगा कि ये नेचुरल है। इस दृष्टि से भी आप देखिए, तो इस बार जो प्रॉपर्टी का नुकसान है वो बहुत ज्यादा हुआ है, और रोड्स वॉश अवे हो गए हैं, आपकी पानी की स्कीम वॉश अवे हो गई है, घर इतने ज्यादा कभी नहीं हुए थे, चाहे कोई भी बाढ़ आ जाए वो किसी न किसी तरह से बचे रहते थे, वो सबको बहुत बड़ा नुकसान हुआ है।
बस 2 आखिरी सवाल पूछूंगी सीएम साहब, अब इसकी भरपाई हिमाचल सरकार कैसे करेगी, क्योंकि इतना ज्यादा जो डैमेज हुआ है इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को, तो पूरा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बेसिकली क्रम्बल ही हो गया है आपकी स्टेट का। अब हिमाचल सरकार, वैसे ही जब आपने सरकार में आप आए थे सीएम, डेट बहुत है, 70,000 करोड़ का डेट है आपकी सरकार पर, जो आपने उठाया है पिछली सरकार से भी, तो कैसे इसकी भरपाई होगी, कैसे मतलब हिमाचल को फिर से रिक्रिएट कैसे किया जाएगा?
नहीं, 75,000 करोड़ का है,
75,000,
10,000 करोड़ की लाइबिलिटीज है जो 7th पे कमीशन दिया है, और इसकी मार और है। लेकिन मैं धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूं हिमाचल के लोगों का, जो लाइबिलिटीज वाले हमारे सरकारी कर्मचारी, एक ने आके भी ये मांगने की कि हमारे को जो एरियर दिया उसके पैसे दीजिए। और जिस भी आर्थिक तंगी से हम गुजर रहे हैं, आर्थिक बदहाली के दौर से हम गुजर रहे हैं, मेरा ये विश्वास है कि हम इस आपदा से भी निकलेंगे, और इस आपदा से निकलने के लिए हम तुरंत प्रभाव से जो कार्य है वो कर रहे हैं। और मैं आपको एक और आश्वासन देना चाहता हूँ, ठीक है अभी हमारी आर्थिक बदहाली है, आर्थिक तंगी है, हम चाहते हैं कि सोवरन स्टेट होने के बावजूद भारत सरकार भी हमारी दिल खोलकर मदद करे इस आपदा के समय, लेकिन हम अपने पैरों पर खड़ा होना पड़ेगा। और मैं इस आपके चैनल से माध्यम से कह रहा हूं कि हम इस आपदा से भी निपटेंगे, और जो आर्थिक तंगी अगले 4 सालों में हिमाचल प्रदेश अपने पैरों पर खड़ा होगा, और 10 साल में हिंदुस्तान का सबसे समृद्धशाली, प्रॉस्पर्स और रिच स्टेट होगा।
सीएम साहब, आखिरी सवाल पूछूंगी, वो एक तो चलिए उसका एक पार्ट है जो पॉलिटिकली कनेक्टेड है, क्योंकि जो भाजपा वो कह रही है कि तैयारी नहीं थी, जो इसमें पहले थोड़ा सा कर सकते थे, पर आप कह रहे हैं कि आपकी वजह से आपके जो यहाँ पे कर्मचारी हैं उन्होंने सब किया, क्यों इसीलिए में भी ह्यूमन लॉस कम हुआ है।
देखिए, मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा, जब कोई आपदा आती है उसकी तैयारी, बादल कहाँ फटता है, तो जो पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री साहब कह रहे थे उनको ये पूछना चाहिए कि अगर आपको ये पता था कि तैयारी, तो जो उनके क्षेत्र में थुनाग में बादल फटा है, उसका पता लग जाता है। तैयारी 8 जून को हमारी पहली आपदा की मीटिंग थी। अगर तैयारी ना होती तो ह्यूमन लॉस सबसे ज्यादा होता। ये सरकार की ही तैयारी थी। वो इस समय राजनीतिक रोटियां सेकने की बात कर रहे हैं। मैं इसकी ज्यादा बात पर टिप्पणी नहीं करना चाहता। इस समय हमें इस आपदा से निपटना है। मेरा तो अनुरोध उनसे भी रहेगा। देश के प्रधानमंत्री जी ने भी हमसे बात की है। उन्होंने पूरी आश्वासन का मौका दिया है। अमित शाह जी ने भी बात की है। सभी लोग हमारी मदद कर रहे हैं। मैं इस राजनीतिक बयान पर जाना नहीं चाहता।
राजनीतिक सीएम साहब, राजनीतिक से परे बस एक आखिरी सवाल है। आपको लगता है कि एक रीथिंक होना चाहिए अभी हिमाचल में जो ओवर कंस्ट्रक्शन है, ओवर टूरिज्म है, ओवर बर्डन है जो स्टेट पे, जैसे जो शिमला डेवलपमेंट प्लान है उसमें थोड़ा रीथिंक होना चाहिए, आपको लगता है?
लेकिन जो हिल पर रहते ना लोग, उनको नुकसान नहीं होता, पर हर जगह प्लानिंग होनी चाहिए। आपको मैं एक चीज बताना चाहता हूँ। जब से हमारी गवर्नमेंट आई है, एक ट्रेडिशनल गवर्नमेंट चल रही थी 40 ईयर से। गुड गवर्नमेंट के लिए गुड गवर्नेंस का होना जरूरी है ना, अच्छे शासन के लिए अच्छे प्रशासन का होना जरूरी है। तो जो ये कह रहे तो हमने अभी कीर्तपुर मनाली में एक नोटिफिकेशन किया कि उसके 100 मीटर तक कोई भी अगर कंस्ट्रक्शन करना चाहता तो उसकी परमिशन आपको टाउन एंड कंट्री प्लानिंग से लेनी पड़ेगी। अब जो ये नदी के किनारे, नदी अपना भाव बदलेगी। हम कई बार सोचते कि नदी पर दूसरे कोने में चलेगी, ऐसा नहीं है। नदी जब बादल फटता है, जिस नदी की कैपेसिटी छोटी थी वो बड़ी हो जाती है बादल पड़ने से। तो हमें इस बारे में विस्तृत सोचना भी पड़ेगा कि नदी के किनारे से हमें कितना डिस्टेंस पर घर बनाना चाहिए, ताकि इस प्रकार की आपदा आ भी जाए तो उससे बचा जा सके।
सीएम साहब, सुखविंदर सिंह सुक्खू जी, बहुत शुक्रिया कि आपने हमसे बात की। गुड लक। एक तो बहुत सारा लक है जो हिमाचल को चाहिए, बहुत सारा प्यार चाहिए, इसको रिक्रिएट करना है, एंड वी विश कि ये आप कर पाएं और जल्द से जल्द हो पाए।
भगवान का ही शुक्रगुजार है कि जिंदगियां बची। पहले जो चुनाव थे उसमें, पहले जो बारिश आती थी, पहले जो आपदा आती थी, उसमें ह्यूमन लॉस बहुत होता था। इसमें ह्यूमन लॉस कैसे हुआ? बाढ़ के कारण नहीं हुआ। इसमें हुआ लैंडस्लाइड। ऊपर से लैंडस्लाइड आ गया, बाढ़ के नजदीक वाले घरों में नहीं हुआ, वो तो खाली करवा दी। कोई किसी पहाड़ी में बसा हुआ, ऊपर से बादल फटा। बादल जब फटता तो बहुत तेज बारिश आती है, तो उसके कारण लैंड ह्यूमन लॉस हुआ। तो जो बाढ़ है, जो आपदा है, उससे कम हुआ और इसके कारण ज्यादा हुआ। लेकिन हम सब परिस्थितियों से निपटे हैं। आप बताइए कि अभी 24 घंटे 12 घंटे धूप निकले हुए हैं। हमने पूरी रोड्स को खोलने की कर दिया। इतनी जल्दी कौन करेगा? पूरे रोड हमने खोल दिया। आप भी पिछले कर पूछ रहे थे तो आप भी आज यहाँ पहुंचे। अब अभी मनाली वाला शाम को खुल जाएगा। तो जितना स्पीड अप हम काम कर सकते हैं, अपने हमारे पास जो सोर्सेज है उसके माध्यम से कर रहे हैं। ये बात ठीक है कि हमें अपना इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर्स बनाने में, पानी की स्कीमें लगाने में, बिजली के नए कनेक्शंस को देने में काफी समय लगेगा।
गुड लक सर, थैंक यू सो मच कि आपने हमसे बात की। थैंक यू।
Nature's fury. Monsoon mayhem. Man-made tragedy. Call it what you want. We have used these headlines many times over the last few years. Met Department scientists are pointing to the convergence of two weather systems, an unusual western disturbance and the normal monsoon winds. The result is this. Himachal Pradesh got 1,200% more rainfall than normal between Saturday and Sunday, and the deluge is continuing. Trucks and buses that weigh thousands of kilograms are swept away like toys. Bridges made of steel and concrete that survived decades of toil, carrying millions of vehicles, are falling apart. Modern highways are giving way in the face of landslides and floods. Houses are destroyed. Hundreds are stranded.
The flood water has entered the ground floor of these houses, but some residents are still living in these houses, just watching the damage caused to their properties.
Mandi, Manali, Kulu, all tourist hubs are badly affected.
यहाँ पे पहले आधी पार्किंग गई थी, अब पूरी चली गई है और अगर ये खार ऐसे लगती रही तो सारे बाजार को खतरा है। आगे हमारी बिल्डिंग्स भी हैं।
अभी भी सेफ नहीं है ये जगह, क्योंकि जिस हिसाब से पेड़ भी गिर रहे हैं यहाँ पे, रिवर बेड जो वो काट रही है, और तो सेफ तो जगह नहीं है ये बिल्कुल भी ना।
The government has advised citizens to stay indoors. What is unfolding in Himachal Pradesh is being described by experts as an extreme weather event. Something we have been seeing frequently in the last 10 years and could see more of in the coming years. Frequent floods, landslides, cyclones are a reminder that climate change is real. There is no denying it. With Manjeet Sehgal and Ashutosh, Bureau Report, India Today.
Quality today. In Delhi, 89. In Mumbai, 97. In Kolkata, 42. In Bangalore, 58. In Chennai, 25. In Hyderabad, 70.
Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today News Mode.
Now, while India has, for the past few months, taken a leadership position with its presidency of the G20, renowned economist and Columbia University professor Arvind Panagraya believes that the government needs to enforce a few reforms in tax and labor laws to truly capitalize on the opportunity. Here's an excerpt from his conversation with BTTV's Akanksha Chaturvedi.
Okay, so, once again, what we are, the particular aspect of demography that I see is the working age population. This is going to grow much bigger in India. Between now, between say 2021 to 2040, we are going to add about 150 million working aged individuals. And these are the individuals we need to nurture. good education. Clearly, our higher education system needs a lot of reforming. Hardly any reforms have actually happened because we are still being governed by the 1956 Act, the University Grants Commission Act. That certainly needs to be reformed in a number of different ways.
The whole demographic dividend can be utilized when the labor is skilled, the labor is, and that one way to that is through manufacturing. And India, and like you said, many people are expressing interest in India as an investment opportunity. We have G20, many corporate and global leaders coming in and expressing their interest in India. What reforms do you think from the policy end can make India more lucrative to investments or more lucrative to manufacturers to establish their hub in India, maybe move away from China, like what China did in the early 2010s or late 2000s? How do you think that India can tap onto that opportunity?
Yeah. So again, this is all about improving the ecosystem. One of the very important things that we need to do is ensure, give the potential investors a very stable tax regime. Our tax men or tax women have the habit of, spring surprises at businesses. There is this enormous propensity to, find ways to raise more and more tax revenue. But when you do that, you scare away the businessmen. It is all fine to raise taxes, but the tax system should be very clear, transparent, so that when the business comes in and sees that, okay, these are the taxes I will owe, those are precisely the taxes that they end up owing, rather than being surprised by the tax departments knocking on their doors for taxes that were not clearly laid out in the system, or that the businesses did not anticipate while coming in and all. So that's one aspect. Infrastructure, which we are doing very well. I think, there's been fantastic expansion of infrastructure, and that's something that we need to continue to do.
So how does one log off? Limit yourself to one screen at a time. Spring clean your social media accounts. Use apps to bolster self-control. Don't charge your phone near your bed. Set time boundaries in usage. Use your gadgets thoughtfully. Think about whether you actually need to use your laptop or whether you need to use your phone. Is there any work really, or just using it mindlessly? Do you really need to watch TV, or you'd rather go for a walk or even take a nap, which is actually more relaxing, more refreshing?
If you ask an average person, they'll say, oh, I'm on social media for about 10-15 minutes or maybe a little bit more in there. I'm not typically there. But if they start actually analyzing their time, and there are apps and features available on these gadgets, they then come to realize that I was putting so many hours more.
Prioritizing offline relationships and getting a glimpse of what real life offers brings real joy. Try it.
Presented by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, Growing Legacies. Co-presented by Century Ply Club Prime, Raho Befikar. Co-presented by Macho Hind, Bade Aaram Se. Co-powered by the new Kia Seltos, the badass reborn. Co-powered by Sera, this is your space, play it your way.
Good evening and welcome. You're watching the news track. I'm Rahul Kamal. Who's responsible for the political violence witnessed in the West Bengal Panchayat elections? Why is there no violence when similar elections are held in states like Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Karnataka. Why is there so much violence taking place at this moment in Didi's Bengal? And what does this mean for the big Lok Sabha elections next year? All this and more is my top focus on the news track.
Violent Panchayat vote count. Crude bombs and chaos. Arrows and accusations fly. Blood politics escalates. Bengal showdown. Big focus on news track.
The West Bengal governor will be joining me live and exclusive on the news track in just a moment from now. Here's a look at the headlines. Torrential rains wreak havoc in Himachal Pradesh. At least 72 are dead. Many roads still shut. Popular tourist spots still cut off. Home Minister hits out at the opposition after Supreme Court invalidates the third extension for the ED director. Shah says it doesn't matter who heads the probe agency. Action against cozy club of corrupt dynasties will continue. India Today accesses images cited as proof of sexual harassment against wrestling body chief. Delhi police charge sheet says Brij Bhushan Singh is liable to be persecuted and punished for molestation and stalking. Horrific collision on the Delhi-Meerut Expressway in Ghaziabad. School bus driving in the wrong direction rams into an SUV. 6 are killed, including 2 children. 3 days to go for the launch of Chandrayaan-3. ISRO conducts a launch rehearsal by simulating the entire process. I want to show you first and foremost the live counting tally from the West Bengal Panchayat polls. India Today's sister concern, Aaj Tak Bangla, has set up an elaborate counting desk in Kolkata, and we're tracking the numbers from all the 3 types of elections that are happening at this time. Remember, Panchayat elections held in different levels. So I'll start by showing you what's happening in the Gram Panchayat seats. Now there are 63,229 Gram Panchayats. Out of this, at this moment, the Trinamool Congress leading at 18,552. Remember, this is paper ballot counting, so it takes much longer than when EVMs are being polled. The BJP standing at 4,095, the Congress at 1,137, the CPM at 1,687. Let's now switch after the Gram Panchayat polls and take a look at what's happening in the Bengal Panchayat Samiti elections. A total of 9,730 Panchayat Samitis. Out of this, the Trinamool leading at this moment in 134, the BJP in 8, the Congress hasn't opened its account yet, the CPM in 6. So one-way traffic in favor of the Trinamool at 134. And last, let's take a look at the Zilla Parishad seats, the total of 928 Zilla Parishads. For the moment, the Trinamool leading in 10 of them, the BJP and the others yet to open their account. So it seems very strongly dominated by the Trinamool, but the charge of the opposition, which in this case includes the BJP and the Congress on the same side of the coin, is that this is being done at the barrel of a gun, that the TMC is bullying voters, intimidating them into ensuring that they vote for the Trinamool Congress. The TMC, of course, denies that charge. Violence continues as votes are counted for the West Bengal Panchayat elections, from crude bombs being hurled to arrows flying in clashes. Chaos ensued on counting day. At least 22 people have died in the last 4 days, and nearly 40 people have been killed since the local body polls were announced.
Bombs, lathis, arrows, ruckus, a tumultuous culmination to Panchayat elections in West Bengal. A harrowing display of unrest staining the vote count on Tuesday across the state. Some 40 people have been killed in clashes since the announcement of Panchayat elections early last month. The extent of violence on the voting day was such that a re-poll had to be ordered in nearly 700 booths. Disorder overshadowed Tuesday's vote count, as political parties continued to engage in accusations and counter-accusations.
चुनाव और हिंसा आज बंगाल में पर्यायवाची शब्द बने हुए हैं. 45 people have died as of today as far as the Panchayat elections of 2023 in West Bengal is concerned. आप अगर अखबार पढ़ेंगे तो जिन शब्दों का प्रयोग सर्वाधिक किया गया है बंगाल के पंचायत के चुनावों को लेकर, वो शब्द है फायरिंग, गोलीबारी, बॉम्बिंग, बमबारी, बोगस वोटिंग, rigging.
Crude bombs went off outside a count center at Diamond Harbour. In Paschim Bardhaman district, political workers and local tribes employed arrows and bows. In several other areas, security forces used force to disperse unruly mobs.
We should realize that elections are not a ground to test one's physical strength. The election is to be fought by ballot, not bullet.
As the dust settles on the turbulent vote count in West Bengal, the echoes of violence serve as a grim reminder of the challenge faced in ensuring a peaceful, democratic process in the state. With Suryagni Roy and Ritik Mandal, Bureau Report, India Today.
I want to go across now, live and exclusive, to the Governor of West Bengal, C.V. Ananda Bose, joining us on the news track. Mr. Bose, welcome. Governor, I want to start by asking you about your overall assessment of the violence in the Panchayat elections. We don't get to see such violence in other states. You've had an opportunity to do your own inspections. Who do you, Governor Bose, blame for the kind of brutal violence that West Bengal has seen in the build-up to the Panchayat elections and during counting, sir? Welcome.
What I saw in the ground, what I saw on ground zero is to be experienced, not explained. Pell-mell and mayhem. That is what was there in the areas of violence which I visited. I could visit only a few of those areas where human blood was shed in the name of election. All type of atrocities were there. People were killed, stabbed, knifed, bullets were showered on them. I could hear the sighs of the widows who lost their husband overnight. I could feel the tears of the mothers who saw their children being shot down in their presence. I could also feel the agony of those whose parents or children or relatives were shot dead on the road. There is nothing which can describe these atrocities that are heaped up there. This election has exposed the ugly underbelly of the miscreants who try to control the election process. I could also understand or experience the presence of the remote controllers, the political remote controllers, who guide these miscreants in the field. This is something which should not have happened in Bengal. This is something which does not bring credit to anybody down the line. Violence has no place in democracy. Violence destroys the ethos of democracy. Violence replaces democracy with mobocracy. This cannot be done. A relentless fight against violence is to be done. That is a lesson which I got. That's the take home which I have from my field visits.
Governor Bose, you are blaming miscreants who are being remote controlled politically for this mobocracy. Who's controlling these miscreants? Who holds that remote control in your view?
That is something which has to be established by professional investigating agencies. That will be done and the truth will come out. We are in the process of trying to tackle this in the most democratic manner within the constitution, within the rule of law.
So you met with Home Minister Amit Shah during your visit to Delhi. What was the Home Minister's assessment of this political violence and the manner in which we've seen so many brutal killings during this poll process?
May I politely respond to that seminal question? What I, as governor, discusses with my constitutional colleagues, I am not able to reveal in the public domain. Once a decision is taken, I will appropriately convey it in the appropriate manner at the appropriate time.
You would have seen, Governor Bose, even though you are being very calibrated and measured in every word that you're seeing, a lot of the senior representatives from the Trinamool government have hit out at you, accusing you of having an agenda in favor of the central government, saying that you're moving around at a time when the election process is being held, and accusing you of acting at behest of the central government.
That is the beauty of democracy. Anybody has a right to express their views freely. I'm happy if some political parties criticize me. They are most welcome. I may not agree with their views. I will certainly uphold their right to say that. Now, the second question, part of your question, accusations are accusations. Let anybody accuse. I know my role as the constitutional head of the state. I will work within the Constitution of India. My first, second and third priority is the people. Whatever is guaranteed by the Constitution, right to life, right to vote, will be guaranteed. Whatever others say, I will be in the field. I will do my duty freely, fearlessly.
Governor Bose, 40 plus people have been killed in this West Bengal Panchayat poll cycle. What action are you promising to take against those who are responsible for these political murders?
Whatever action is warranted under the law of the land will be taken. Certainly, the guilty will be brought to book, and our effort is to see that violence is put in the coffin and the last nail is driven deep using the constitutional provisions and the legal provisions of this great country.
Why is this violence happening only in West Bengal? There were similar Panchayat polls in a state even bigger, Uttar Pradesh, but we didn't see this kind of violence in the least in Uttar Pradesh when Panchayat polls were happening. Why does so much violence happen only in the state of West Bengal, Governor?
Comparisons are odious. I would like to confine myself to West Bengal. Here alone I have a jurisdiction. There is violence here. That violence will be put out. That is my priority. For the time being, I am not here for a comparative exercise.
Finally, more counting is still left. The process hasn't been concluded. Are you confident that now there will be a semblance of normalcy, that this violence will end?
Today, when I went to the field, I found there is a definite change. I could see the central forces and also the Punjab police and the state police in sufficient numbers in the places where I visited. I think strict action will be taken. Certainly, we will do everything to see that there is not a repeat of what was there in the pre-poll days. We are vigilant. Public are vigilant. Let us see what happens. I am hopeful.
Have you had an opportunity to speak to the Chief Minister of the state? What's Mamata Banerjee telling you about her expectations in terms of bringing this cycle of violence to a close, Governor?
I will try to bring all stakeholders together. This is a common enemy. What is relevant is not violence during election. What is relevant is violence. That has to be stemmed effectively, efficiently, and we should see to it that all action is taken through all means to suppress violence and make it a thing of the past. Those perpetrators of violence will be shown their place. They will be made to curse the day they were born.
You've been very deliberate and careful in what you've said and what you've left unsaid. You're promising to live up to your constitutional duty and be totally non-partisan in this process. We wish you all the very best, CV Ananda Bose, Governor of West Bengal, for joining me on the news track. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's the Governor of West Bengal live on the news track, being very careful in what he says, but the implicit messaging is clear. This kind of violence hasn't happened in other states. States like Uttar Pradesh, where you had a similarly gigantic Panchayat poll process. There was hardly any stray incident of violence. Here there is mass violence, 40 plus people dead, images of ballot boxes being broken apart, ballot papers being flung around the fields. I mean, there is chaos in different parts of the state. Who is to blame for this cycle of violence? And what do these trends mean for the Lok Sabha elections of 2024? Do they mean anything at all, given that Panchayat elections and national elections are quite different? To talk about this and more, I'm joined on this broadcast by Bishwajit Deb, spokesperson of the Trinamool, Bikash Ranjan Bhattacharya, Member of Parliament in the Rajya Sabha of the CPIM, Syed Zafar Islam, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Jayanto Ghoshal is a consulting editor at India Today, and we've got Shikha Mukherjee, well-known columnist and senior journalist, joining us. I want to go across to Bishwajit Deb first, because implicit in what the governor said and didn't say, and in what we've seen in West Bengal, is the fact that this is a state being run by the Trinamool at this time, and only in this particular state and not in other states are we seeing this kind of violence. Law and order, sir, is your government's responsibility. If there is so much violence in East Bengal, ultimately the state government has to take responsibility because it's happening on your watch.
I'll come to what the governor has said after some time. But first let me tell you that the people's mandate had been with Mamata Banerjee. The people's blessings had been with Mamata Banerjee, with Abhishek Banerjee, and with All India Trinamool Congress. It reflected, today's results reflected that the people had full faith on Trinamool Congress, on Mamata Banerjee, and on Abhishek Banerjee. Now you see there are 63,000, more than 63,000 booths, out of which only in 1% booth there were some incidents of violence, especially in Murshidabad, where Congress and CPIM created this violence, and 5 of our active leaders and workers, they died on the day of election in Murshidabad alone, and some happened in Kuch Bihar, where these incidents had been instigated by the BJP, and some incidents were there in South 24 Parganas instigated by the ISF. Now the problem is these sporadic incidents which led to deaths of not only the opposition but also the Trinamool Congress workers and leaders. You see what happened ultimately, the media projected, the section of the media projected that the entire state is in doldrums. The entire state is in a lawlessness situation. But that is not a fact. This is not the actual fact. You see, the people voted for Trinamool Congress. You cannot rig, you cannot create nuisance in 63,000 booths. People voted for Mamata Banerjee. People voted for Abhishek Banerjee. People voted for Trinamool Congress. This is the hard reality. This is the ground reality which the governor of West Bengal is not so understanding. Unfortunately, the governor of West Bengal is acting at the behest of his political masters. He is acting at the behest of the Bharatiya Janata Party. And he just wanted to do and did whatever the BJP told him to do. Even during the time when the election campaign was over, at that time also he came out in the streets and he helped the opposition. This is not the role of a governor. He should understand that he is the constitutional head of the state and he has got his limits. He cannot cross his limits.
Okay.
And what he
so
is doing,
let me put that question to Syed Zafar Islam.
He has acted as a political leader. He has acted as a political leader. This is very unfortunate on the part of the governor.
Syed Zafar Islam, the data on our screen coming from the West Bengal Panchayat polls suggest that the voters in these elections have yet again voted overwhelmingly in favor of the Trinamool. The TMC leader says that the poll violence is exaggerated, it's bad, but it's limited to certain pockets. It's not as if the state is in the grip of lawlessness like the BJP would have us believe. They're also accusing the governor, who was speaking to us moments before now, of acting as a pawn of the central government. Syed Zafar Islam.
Well, you did ask a question to the governor about the comparison between Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal. Of course, he was not in a position because being a governor, he didn't make the comparison, but I can do that. You have seen how handsomely we have won in many states, not only in Uttar Pradesh, but many states in Panchayat election. And how about, but did we use any kind of state machinery or for the police or threaten people, use goons to beat up people, use murdered people, political violence, resorted to political violence? None. We did none. We just went to the followed the electoral process, and the people have supported us purely because we had the confidence of the people, they had the confidence in the government and the governance model. But here, see the political violence. See all the people who have voted for Trinamool Congress were frightened, because if they do not vote for PMC, then they will be targeted post the election result. Unfortunately, they complied with the threat with what the TMC had given to them, and they had to vote for TMC not because of they wanted to vote them, but because of the fear they have that they will be targeted by the TMC goons. We have seen it even after the state election, how people were targeted, those who had not voted for TMC. People may have...
Jayanto Ghoshal, you've seen many an election in West Bengal and elsewhere. When elections happen in Uttar Pradesh, back in the day, you would expect violence. Even in a state like Bihar, you'd expect lawlessness. Now, these states have progressed in a way that there's very sporadic incidents of violence, if at all. 40 political murders just during the Panchayat polls. This is unheard of. Why is there so much political violence in West Bengal at this moment? Who's to blame? Who's responsible, Jayanto?
Rahul, violence first, at the outset, we should condemn violence. And you know, there is unfortunately, for the last 40 years, I am an onlooker of West Bengal politics. Political DNA of the Bengal. I am not saying that Bengalis are violent. That will be sweeping generalization. Unfortunately, I cannot do that. But there is a political culture of violence, and this time, it has become a commercialization of violence for the electoral and political gain. I am remembering I mean just recalling that the Aaj Tak special story, it's a brilliant story, that the bomb merchants of Bengal, they are saying, I am not in a party. I am selling the bombs and the rifles and we are independent. Earlier, they used to bring it from the Munger, Bihar. Now, West Bengal has become independent, and we are manufacturing, and you can buy. And both the parties, the opposition and the ruling parties, they are buying. Why? TMC is buying to remain in power. BJP is buying to gain the power. So it has become a political culture. But one thing is very important, that when CPM was in power, after some time, the killing of CPM workers also started, because that time we used to call it Pratirod. The combative politics started because Trinamool started getting the political space against CPM. Now the history is repeating history. You have to give the share to the devil also. Bishwajit Dev is a very good friend of mine. He's a brilliant spokesperson, but he cannot say that Congress, when Siddharth Shankar Rai, the goons of Congress shifted to CPM, and the CPM goons shifted to the political power hierarchy of TMC, and it has become a system in West Bengal because it's a socio-economic factors are there. If you cannot provide the industry, if you cannot give the white collar job, in Panchayat Pradhan he gets 6,000 rupees, but that is not the issue. But the central projects, the state projects, lot of monies, and there is a socio-economic pathos in Bengal, and they are getting something from Panchayat.
Do you buy this?
Everybody wants to be the part of
Do you
this
buy
Panchayat
this
election.
argument, Bikash Ranjan Bhattacharya, that this is part of a political culture spawned by the left during your rule, that when the Trinamool was getting stronger, we saw a similar pushback. Even at that time, there was violence when the left was weakening and the TMC was getting stronger. Now, as the BJP gains ground, again, we are seeing this brutal cycle of violence. It's part of the political DNA, Jayanto Ghoshal claims, of West Bengal.
I reject this idea. I do not subscribe this theory. This theory is really making this situation worse than what this situation needs to be explained. Here in West Bengal, during left front regime, during the election, the opposition used to get more than 40% of vote. Therefore, they cannot say that there was a violence in the election. But there were killings, no doubt about it. The killings was on the political not, but the economical issues. When the left front government initiated land reforms, the land losers got the land, and the land sharks, they have lost the right of their land, and they started creating this sort of disturbance, and they took shelter of violence to these landloaders to get out of their land rights. During the left front regime, the workers had their right to movement, they had the right to strike, and the police was not allowed to intervene. Then the company or the capital, they used to hire the goons to kill the workers. There was the killing of the workers, and the goons were hired by the capital. That was the situation where unfortunately the killings were there. That was purely on the question of socio condition of change of correlation of powers. But Trinamool, after coming to power with the assistance of the capital and all the reactionary forces, they have taken it that no democratic right is to be exercised, allowed to be exercised. Not even a college election, not even a cooperative election. Everywhere Trinamool goons will let their goons free and prevent the...
Shikha Mukherjee, who are you blaming? You've seen many elections in West Bengal. For this current round of political violence, who do you blame? Who's more responsible, ma'am?
You have to accept that.
Well, I think that who is more responsible? Obviously, whoever the party which has the maximum number of biggest organization is responsible because they have more people on the ground. However, I am entirely in agreement with Jayanto that all political parties are equally responsible for the kind of intensification and the nature of the attacks that have happened. This intensity is something disturbing, and the political parties need to work it out how they're going to end this intensive violence, which not only has killed 40 people, but it has created, it has shifted the way in which violence is earlier been, we have recorded the violence in the past.
Now, what's the difference?
Having
You've seen
said that,
political
let me
violence in the
just
past. What's the difference between earlier and now?
Oh, I'll tell you, the kind of, it's a free for all. Or earlier there was a reason why these, because what says is right. Earlier there was a clash of certain ideas. Here it is a clash only for area domination, only for the purposes of defending a piece of turf from encroachment by somebody else. And Rahul, let me put it to you like this. You will hear, I've been hearing throughout the day, I've been hearing for some time, over the last 4 days, that the violence has been confined to certain areas, certain districts. West Bengal has 20 districts. The violence has been confined to, high degree levels of violence have been confined to certain districts. I agree with that. And then if you look at it, you take a political map of the districts of West Bengal, where which party is dominating is very clear. And then you superimpose this violence map. And what you see is striking. There is a convergence which is striking. In other words, there are people defending the turf. There are people encroaching on that turf. And between the two, there seems to be an all-out war to contain.
Let Bishwajit Deb respond to that. Essentially, you're being very guarded in what you're saying. But here's essentially what you're saying, that the Trinamool is holding on to turf. The BJP is trying to get on to that turf, which is why we're seeing this push.
It varies from district to district.
And in some cases, where the Congress is stronger, like in Murshidabad, we're seeing a violence of a different kind. And in some places, we're seeing the ISF and the CPIM part of the violence as well.
You see, we condemn any type of violence whatsoever. But the politics of violence has been in Bengal since the days of the left front regime. Since the left front came to power in 1977, thereafter you will see each and every violence, every election was an election of bloodbath. Each and every election we witnessed.
No, but you promised, Koriborthan, you promised that you would be different. How can you hark back to the bloody days of the left and say it happened then, it's happening now, it's no big deal? That's what you promised to change.
Please let me finish.
Okay.
This is not I am just citing the example. But what I would like to say is this. The same thing has been followed by the left now, and they have perpetrated this violence along with BJP and ISF. In Bengal, the situation is different. In Bengal, it is a combination of the opposition parties together. The left, the CPI, the left, the Congress, ISF and BJP. It's a combined opposition against the Trinamool Congress. They don't even follow the rule of law, and that is why these incidents have happened. Now coming to the question, you see, BJP gave a slogan, no vote to Mamata. Now our leader Abhishek Banerjee today tweeted, now vote for Mamata. And this is exactly what has happened in Bengal. Bengal has voted for Mamata Banerjee. Bengal has voted for All India Trinamool Congress. Bengal has voted for Abhishek Banerjee. The thing is this, you see, opposition parties must understand one particular thing, that they don't have any base. They don't have any public support. Public support is with All India Trinamool Congress because of the development work since the last 12 years which has been done by Mamata Banerjee. Mamata Banerjee did Kanyasri, Mamata Banerjee did Khaddashati, Mamata Banerjee did Students Credit Card, Mamata Banerjee did Lakshmi Bhandar, whatever commitment did was
okay. So you're trying to shift attention away from the violence to the messaging from this election. I want to put that question to Jayanto Ghoshal. What impact do you think, if at all, this Panchayat result will have on the 2024 elections? Typically, state governments tend to do well in local body polls. Lok Sabha elections are different. The Trinamool says this is proof that we'll win 2024. Is it? Jayanto Ghoshal.
Yeah, I will respond, but before that, I just want to mention one sentence to Bikasda. our beloved Bikasda, he was a very good mayor of West Bengal. When I was speaking on the CPM's goons and the lumpen proletariat of the Communist Party, then this Buddhadev Bhattacharya and Bikasda, they didn't promote. There is a tale of two CPM, and the CPM, the goon CPM dominated, and that's why the exit happened. And till today, if CPM is not ready to accept that fact, the future of CPM is also will be deplorable. Anyway, the future of 2024, the point number one, the control over the masses, the mass connectivity, still number one is Mamata Banerjee. You have to accept the fact, and the BJP top brush also, they accept this fact. As a journalist, I know that. And that's why they are trying to get that space, and gradually BJP is improving. 2019, 2020, 21, BJP got defeated, but the percentage of vote is increasing. Today's vote also, I was watching whether left parties will be the number 2 party or not. Left could not, BJP became number 2. So now the fight is number 1 in 2024, the control of Mamata Banerjee and BJP's organizational control. You have to accept, if there is an organizational strength in Subhendu's area, Nandigram, how BJP got victory? Today, Nandigram, Subhendu Adhikari got the victory in his block. And Arabul defeated Trinamool leader, then Musselman. Why? So there is some space. Now how BJP will, under which leadership, there are a lot of pitfalls, there are a lot of fault lines. And the last point is, Lok Sabha election is the election of Narendra Modi, who is still, I believe, the most popular leader of this country.
Okay, let Syed Zafar Islam respond to what you're saying, that this Panchayat election shows that Mamata Banerjee's popularity is undiminished.
Rahul, one sentence.
Okay, one
Panchayat
sentence.
is controlled by West Bengal government. Panchayat election is State Election Commission. Panchayat election is the BDO's election. So you cannot compare. The exact consequence will follow in Lok Sabha election
Rahul, can you just repeat the question,
election,
please?
but still BJP.
Okay, Syed Zafar Islam, here's my question. This poll shows that Mamata Banerjee is still popular in West Bengal. If you're hoping that after her assembly election victory, her popularity would crash, the BJP was making many claims of doing much better than it actually has. So it can be argued that while you've gained some ground and become the lead opposition party, you are still only the lead opposition party and nowhere close to being able to unseat Mamata Banerjee yet.
Well, Rahul, two things. When we are talking about 2024 and we are talking about the state assembly election, I think state assembly election we have demonstrated that we are number 2 party. Our vote percentage has significantly improved. Of course, we didn't win that many seats, but in terms of percentage of vote, significantly improvement was there in case of BJP, and we are moving ahead. As far as the 2024 election, we will certainly win. We had won 18 seats last time out of 40. This time, we are very confident that we will definitely win more than 25 seats, and we have many of the even TMC, our friend from TMC. They do speak that this time Bharatiya Janata Party will be the single largest gainer when it comes to 2024 poll in West Bengal, and nothing less than 2025, nothing less than 25 seats. And when I heard the spokesperson of TMC when he was talking about that the popularity of Mamata Banerjee and the people who have voted for TMC, actually their force is not out of their will and willingness. They have voted for TMC, but out of fear, and they have been forced. But when the central military forces will be there and free and fair election will be conducted, you will see the outcomes will be very different.
Shikha Mukherjee, your sense of whether this result has any bearing on the 2024 elections?
I think the results do have a bearing on the 2024 elections. Look at the situation in 2019. Yes, Mr. Modi, popularity and his charisma worked in West Bengal. It delivered 18 seats out of 42 to the BJP. This is something that Mamata Banerjee has been targeting from 2019. It is her single-minded aim to get that number down. The Panchayat election is one way of getting an organization fighting fit to take on the 2024 challenge. And let me also say this, that regardless of the BJP's opinion or that of other people, the BJP organization in West Bengal is weak. The BJP, in personal conversations, does admit it. In some districts, it is particularly weak. In some others, it is not so weak. But if you look at what the Trinamool has been doing through this Panchayat election result, you will realize that the BJP's domains, BJP's turf has been targeted, and Mamata Banerjee has been determined to make headway, and she has successfully done it in quite a few places.
Okay, you've heard differing perspectives. One, of course, the Trinamool being able to...
The bottom line is very simple, Rahul.
Yes.
The bottom line is 2024 is what Mamata Banerjee was aiming at. 2024 is where all this Panchayat election results are going to make a difference.
Well, but 2024 is also when Prime Minister Modi is on the ticket, and that makes a difference. Sure. It's not Mamata Banerjee versus local BJP leaders, it's Mamata Banerjee versus the Prime Minister. And in that context, the voters of West Bengal need to decide what they think is the most sensible option for them. We will track what happens on day 2 of counting. I want to thank our guests for joining us on Aaj Tak Bangla and across the India Today network. We'll keep giving you live counting results as they keep coming in. Slipping into a quick break. When we come back, Himachal Pradesh ravaged by rain fury, roads still shut, tourist spots cut off. Multiple ground reports coming up on the other side of a very quick break.
Quality today. In Delhi, 89. In Mumbai, 97. In Kolkata, 42. In Bangalore, 58. In Chennai, 25. In Hyderabad, 70.
Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today News Mode.
You're on board the news track. Torrential rains and landslides have claimed at least 72 lives in Himachal Pradesh. Flash floods have led to massive destruction. Major rivers continue to be in spate. Chief Minister Sukhwinder Sukhu conducted an aerial survey today. Major roads, highways and tourist spots still remain cut off.
Days of relentless rains leave a trail of destruction across Himachal Pradesh. Flash floods swept away roads and smashed bridges. Landslides and floods have forced closure of around 800 roads in the state. A stretch on the Manali-Chandigarh highway was washed away. The Shimla-Kinnaur road is closed for vehicular traffic. Many towns and villages are totally cut off. Kulu is among the worst hit regions.
Line by line, you can see how these buildings have swept away. This was the area where we are being told 4 shops right there were swept away yesterday. 6 were swept away the day before. Lots of residential building. An entire hotel was also swept away by the waters of the Beas.
Water in and around Panchayat temple receded. The shrine was submerged completely for the last 2 days.
It all started from Sunday afternoon, and here being Monday, the first auspicious day in the month of Shravan, it was expected to have a huge footfall, not just in thousands, but over the weeks, lakhs of people were expected to arrive at this holy shrine of Lord Shiva, as this Panchmukhi temple, also giving name to Mandi as a Choti Kashi. Yes, and look at this, that's the structure. All you see, this entire landscape is covered with a very thick layer of sand only, literally looking like an island.
People in Mandi got some respite as water has receded.
These houses were submerged up to 20 feet till Monday, but the respite has come as the rains have stopped. Now the flood water has started receding, and now we can see that all the stories of this house are now visible. As far as the damage is concerned, in Mandi alone, nearly 113 houses were partially damaged, and the people who were living in these houses have been moved to the safer places.
आज तो राहत भरा समाचार है कि आज मौसम ठीक है और नदियों का उफान भी थोड़ा लेवल डाउन हुआ है, तो रिलीफ एंड रेस्टोरेशन वर्क के लिए आज समय मिला है.
People are eager to return to normal life. These migrant laborers are heading to Kulu and Manali, hoping to rejoin work.
कहाँ जा रहे हैं आप लोग?
कुल्लू मनाली.
क्यों?
सेब टूरने काम करने के लिए जा रहे हैं अभी तो.
वहाँ तो पता है ना नुकसान हुआ, तो फिर कैसे पैदल ही जा रहे हो?
हाँ, तो अभी तो अब गाड़ी नहीं चल रहा है.
कहाँ रुके थे इतने दिन?
इतने दिन आ रहे हैं हम लोग.
कहाँ से? नेपाल से यहाँ कैसे पहुँचे?
गाड़ी तक.
Chief Minister Sukhwinder Singh Sukhu took an aerial survey of the flood-ravaged regions. But the worst may not be over yet. The IMD has issued a red alert and flash floods warning in 7 districts, including Kulu and Mandi, for the next 24 hours. With Preeti Chaudhary and Ashutosh Mishra in Kulu and Manjeet Sehgal in Mandi, Bureau Report, India Today.
This is where we wrap up the news track tonight. For your time and your trust, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you at 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. Till then, from all of us here, goodbye, good night.
Tomatoes, an essential ingredient in every dish. The vegetable now costs 120 to 160 rupees per kg depending on where you are, forcing households across the country to drop tomatoes from their shopping lists.
रसोई पर कितना फर्क पड़ता है?
बहुत फर्क पड़ा है। रसोई पर जिसको 1 किलो ले जाना था वो आधा किलो 250 ग्राम लेके काम चला रहा है। गरीब जनता क्या करे?
In Patna, locals are blaming the black marketing for the inflation.
इसमें कुछ व्यापारी लोग की कालाबाजारी भी है और इसमें सरकार की कमी भी है। सरकार को चाहिए कि किस दर से कौन सी बिकना चाहिए, उस पर नियम लागू करना चाहिए।
The situation is no different in Jammu, where vegetable vendors rue the fall in sales due to high prices.
पीछे से बाढ़ से माल सड़ गया सारे, तभी महंगा हुआ अभी। अच्छा।
तो अमूमन जो ग्राहक आते थे आपके पास, जब दाम सामान्य थे, नॉर्मल रेट थे, तब कितना किलोग्राम लेता था हर कोई?
किलो 2 किलो लेते थे।
In the national capital, the price of tomatoes have risen to 160 rupees per kg.
एक तो फसल कमजोर है। इस समय जो टमाटर चलता है सिर्फ और सिर्फ हिमाचल का टमाटर चलता है और अब बेंगलोर का टमाटर शुरू हो चुका है, लेकिन अभी भी 20-25 दिन टमाटर नीचे होते हुए नजर नहीं आएगा।
Down south, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister shared a review meeting and took stock of the prevailing situation. The tomato prices are skyrocketing after a crash in prices in April. The months of April and May also saw pest attacks. These two factors forced farmers to abandon tomato crop, which has now led to a shortage in supply. Experts say tomato prices could take time to stabilize. Bureau Report, India Today.
Weather forecast now. Delhi, maximum 36 and minimum 26 degrees. Mumbai, maximum 30 and minimum 26 degrees. Kolkata, maximum 34 and minimum 28 degrees. Bangalore, maximum 24 and minimum 22 degrees. Chennai, maximum 33 and minimum 24 degrees. Hyderabad, maximum 32 and minimum 24 degrees.
Has had a breakthrough with skinny pants. The Ozempic shots meant for the treatment of type 2 diabetes is being used off-label to reduce weight. These shots are hard to obtain but have the ability to help you shed those pounds. The drug was never meant to be used for that purpose in the first place. It gives myriad of side effects to those taking it for weight loss. They include diarrhea, constipation, tummy aches, nausea, vomiting, amongst many others. Many already know this. Now a pill form of Ozempic is on the horizon. On 25th of June, researchers presented data in 2 studies at the American Diabetes Association Scientific Sessions Conference. One study showed 50 milligrams of semaglutide, the active compound in Ozempic and Wegovy, taken orally each day is roughly as effective as weekly Wegovy shots in reducing weight in people who are overweight or obese. Wegovy injections contain 2.4 milligrams of semaglutide. Wegovy has been approved to treat obesity since 2021. It's the same drug as diabetes medication Ozempic, just at a higher dose. Concerns now loom large on its unintended consequences as more people would seem to prefer pills over the injections for weight loss.
What is important to know is that semaglutide is a good option for people, who have diabetes, who have obesity, or who are overweight and need to lose weight. But it is not a good option for everyone, and it is important that whoever takes this pill, they take it under medical supervision, and then, decide whether they meet the criteria or not.
We have to practice ethical medicine for it to be beneficial for everybody, and keeping in mind the risks and the benefits. So I do think it's a new kid on the block. I do think it'll be successful in the future. We just need some more information for it.
The injectable liquid form of semaglutide is directly shot into the belly with very small needle dispatch at the click of a pen once a week. One can take it with or without food. Oral semaglutide is supposed to be swallowed and not injected. Patients must have an empty stomach when they take it along with water. Doctors are extremely worried. Having a poppable pill available for weight loss could perhaps lead to an abuse of the drug.
This is a drug that at times can increase the risk of thyroid C-cell cancer. It can increase the risk of pancreatitis or inflammation of the pancreas. It can increase the risk of kidney problems. So it's not an option for everyone. It can increase the risk of causing hypoglycemia, which is low blood sugar, since it is a diabetes drug.
From the miracle of 1983 to becoming the first-time host in 1987.
The More versus Miadad of 1992 to the Prasad versus Amir Sohail of 1996.
And then, of course, the high of 2011 with Mahendra Singh Dhoni finishing it off in style.
He finishes off in style. A magnificent strike into the crowd. India lift the World Cup after 28 years.
Relive India's journey at the Cricket World Cup from 1983 to the last edition in 2019 with me, Rajdeep Sardesai.
And me, Nikhil Nas. World Cup Rewind at these times on India Today.
So sorry.
हमें तो अपनों ने लूटा, गैरों में कहाँ दम था। हमें तो अपनों ने लूटा, गैरों में कहाँ दम था। मेरी पार्टी ही तोड़ी तब, जब चुनाव में वक्त कम था।
मुझे आपका दर्द समझ में आता है। मुझे आपका दर्द समझ में आता है। अपनों के धोखे से इंसान संभल नहीं पाता है। आप और हम एक जैसे हैं। हम दोनों का बगावत का नाता है।
है और भी दुनिया में चाणक्य बड़े अच्छे। है और भी दुनिया में चाणक्य बड़े अच्छे। कहते हैं अमित शाह का अंदाज़े बयान और है। कहते हैं अमित शाह का अंदाज़े बयान और आधा बढ़ जाए।
Good evening, viewers. Let's take a look at the weather report across the major cities this evening. Thiruvananthapuram is at 31 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 33. Mumbai is at 31 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 75. Panji is at 29 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 40. Ahmedabad is at 32 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 53. Bhopal is at 27 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 18. Jaipur is at 32 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 65. Delhi is at 31 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 83. Srinagar is at 31 degrees Celsius with AQI being 56. Lucknow is at 34 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 43. Patna is at 36 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 36. Kolkata is at 35 degrees with an AQI of 47. Hyderabad is at 29 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 49. Bangalore is at 26 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 32. Chennai is at 31 degrees Celsius with an AQI of 36. This is all we have for you in this segment. Hope wherever you are, you find favorable weather around you. Keep watching India Today for all the weather updates with me AI Sana all through the day.
Co-presented by Star Health Insurance, the health insurance specialist.
Co-presented by JK Tyre Ranger Series. Stay wild at heart. Co-powered by Watcho OTT Super App.
One hai to done hai.
Co-powered by the new Kia Seltos, the badass reborn.
Co-powered by Sera. This is your space. Play it your way.
Good evening, hello and welcome. You're with the news today, Tuesday night. This is your destination for news, newsmakers, talking points. The big talking point is coming from Bengal, where the Panchayat polls have raised the big question. Is Bengal today the epicenter of political violence in the country? Or with victory in sight, does Mamata Banerjee remain Bengal's Neta number one? We'll have a focus on Bengal, but we have lots of other stories for you tonight. Let's tell you the stories tonight. The Supreme Court strikes down Enforcement Director S.K. Mishra's third extension, calls it illegal. Opposition hails the judgment. Home Minister Amit Shah insists judgment is not an indictment of the government. India Today accesses images cited as proof of sexual harassment against wrestling body chief. Delhi police charge sheet says Brij Bhushan Singh liable to be prosecuted, punished for sexual assault. Ruling Trinamool Congress set to sweep the Bengal Panchayat polls. BJP claims polls have been rigged as violent clashes mar counting day. Torrential rains continue to wreak havoc in Himachal Pradesh. At least 72 people dead. Many roads still shut. Popular tourist spots like Kulu cut off. Supreme Court to hold daily hearings on the abrogation of Article 370 from the 2nd of August. Top court strikes down centre's affidavit claiming stability, says no bearing on the constitutional challenge before the court. Chaos erupts in the Karnataka Assembly over a Jain seer's murder. BJP demands a CBI probe. Delegation to meet the governor on Wednesday. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah says fair probe underway. 2 arrests have been made. Horrific collision on the Delhi-Meerut Expressway in Ghaziabad. School bus driving in the wrong direction rams into an SUV. 6 killed, including 2 children. Another cheetah brought from South Africa. Tejas dies in the Kulu National Park. Total of 7 cheetah deaths so far in just 9 months. 3 days to go for the launch of Chandrayaan-3. ISRO conducts a launch rehearsal by simulating the entire process. Chandrayaan-3 to take flight on the 14th of July. But the big story that we are breaking today, India Today has accessed the charge sheet against Brij Bhushan Saran Singh, the Wrestling Federation chief and BJP MP. While this morning the Indian Express had given details of the charge sheet, now India Today has access to the photographs that have been used in that charge sheet as evidence by several of the witnesses corroborating, they say, the charges of sexual harassment. One of those shows, as you can see there, Brij Bhushan Saran Singh with the wrestlers holding the hand of one of the wrestlers. The wrestlers claim that they have several similar photographs which they suggest sexual harassment. They've also alleged stalking in their claims and molestation. Let's go straight across to Shrishti Oja, who has accessed that charge sheet and those photographs for us. The photographs are being used by the wrestlers, claiming before the police that Brij Bhushan Saran Singh would often be seen to be someone who was using his power to sexually harass the wrestlers. Remember, this matter has been pending and there was a protest by the wrestlers for months. Joining me now is Shrishti Oja, our legal affairs correspondent, who had accessed that particular charge sheet. Shrishti, give us more details.
Well, yes, Rajdeep, as we know, the charge sheet was filed by Delhi police last month against Brij Bhushan Sharan in this particular matter for different offences, including